Hello everyone, good morning, welcome to Literature Vidya. I am Ankita and today we are going to study the Renaissance literature. In the previous lectures, we have already covered what led to Renaissance. Then we covered the politics of the age and also the features of Renaissance. Today we are going to focus on the literature associated to the Renaissance age. So let's begin. Renaissance literature. First of all, we are focusing upon the genre of poetry, that is Renaissance poetry. In the Renaissance literature, we did not completely break away from the medieval values, right? They are saying कि Renaissance आया, it was a rebirth, right? We were reviving back the classics, but with the revival back of the classics, we did not break away with our medieval values. हमने medieval values से break away नहीं किया, right? So, the first individual that we are going to study in the Renaissance poetry is Philip Sidney. Philip Sidney, he was considered as a perfect Renaissance gentleman. अगर किसी इंसान को एक perfect Renaissance gentleman माना गया है, then he is Philip Sidney. He embodied the virtues of a knight, right? He was also a knight. He was a noble warrior. ऐसा माना जाता है कि he died while helping another soldier. He gave his water to another soldier and said, "Thy need is more than mine," right? Then he was a lover, a man of passion, and he has written Astrophil and Stella for the love of his life, that is Penelope Durex, and a scholar, that is a man of learning, yeah, because he has been indulged into a lot of things, despite the fact that he survived only 33 years, yes. Then you have to remember there's an individual by the name of William Stigand, who has written an essay by the name of Philip Sidney. There is an individual, William Stigand, who has written an essay on Philip Sidney, and the title of the essay is also Philip Sidney. Okay. Now, Philip Sidney died in the Battle of Zutphen. Yeah, that is what I was trying to tell you. कि Philip Sidney जो थे, he died as a warrior, right? So he died as a chivalric man in the Battle of Zutphen in 1586 by giving his water supply to the wounded soldier, saying, "Thy need is more than mine." तुम्हारी जरूरत मुझसे ज़्यादा है. Okay. Now, focusing on his works, so the first work that is very important associated to Philip Sidney is Astrophil and Stella. This was written in the year 1580. Another important point, none of Philip Sidney's work has been published while he was alive. All of his works are published posthumously, okay, post his death. So Astrophil and Stella, written in the year 1580s. It is a sonnet sequence of 108 sonnets and 11 songs. The word Astrophil is derived from two words, that is Aster, which means a star, and Phil, which means a lover, right? Aster का मतलब होता है star, Phil का मतलब होता है lover, तो Astrophil का मतलब होता है star lover, whereas Stella का मतलब होता है star. Yes, this very sonnet sequence was inspired by Petrarch and adopted the Petrarchan rhyme scheme. And Petrarch was an Italian poet, right? So he has written the rhyming scheme is octave and sestet. Octave is 8 lines and then sestet is 6 lines. Yes, octave followed the rhyming scheme A, B, B, A, B, B, A. And sestet was CD, CDE, CDE or CD, CD, CD. So sestet was more flexible as compared to the octave. Octave ने जो rhyming scheme follow करी, that was A, B, B, A, B, B, A. Okay, sestet ने CD, CDE, CDE or CD, CD, CD. Yes. Now, moving forward, we say it is considered that love represented is literal, right? It is considered that Astrophil and Stella में जो love represent किया गया है वो true love है, right? It happened in the real life. Astrophil is associated to Lady Penelope Durex. Astrophil जो है उसका character associate किया गया है Lady Penelope Durex के साथ. Later became Lady Rich because she married Lord Rich. But Penelope और Sidney जो है उनकी engagement बचपन में ही हो गई थी, right? So Sidney was in love with Penelope, but जो Penelope है उसके father की death हो जाती है and because of some undue circumstances, Penelope is not married to Sidney. Instead of marrying Sidney, she marries Lord Rich, right? And she becomes Mrs. Rich, right? तो उसी unrequited love की दास्तां उसने Astrophil and Stella में बयां की है, okay? Printed. Astrophil and Stella is printed by Thomas Newman. This is important. Sometimes UGC NET and other English examination do ask the printers. So just have a look at it. तो Astrophil and Stella किसने प्रिंट करी है? थॉमस न्यूमैन ने in the year 1591. Okay, 5 years post Sidney's death. It has preface. Another important point, it has a preface by Thomas Nash. Astrophil and Stella जो है उसमें preface है written by Thomas Nash, and there are verses that are written by Thomas Campion, Samuel Daniel, right? इन सब की उसमें verses दी है. तो Astrophil and Stella में क्या क्या याद रखना है? 108 sonnets, 11 songs, right? Published, publisher कौन है? Thomas Newman. प्रीफेस किसने लिखा है? थॉमस नैश. और किस किस की वर्सेस हैं? थॉमस कैंपियन और सैमुअल डेनियल, राइट? जो लेडी लवर है उसका नाम क्या है? पेनेलोप ड्यूरेक्स. जो हमारा एस्ट्रोफिल है, हु इज ही एसोसिएटेड टू? सिडनी. या in the sonnet he details his passion feelings for Stella and his struggle with emotions, his decision to abandon her pursuit and do public service, right? And finally he decides to abandon the pursuit of love. Why? Because she gets married to someone else and do some public service, and it is while doing the public service that he dies, right, in the battle of Zutphen. Clear? 1586. ठीक है. अब एडमंड स्पेंसर जो थे वो हमारे फिलिप सिडनी के बहुत अच्छे दोस्त थे, और फिलिप सिडनी की डेथ पर उन्होंने एक एलिजी लिखी है बाय द नेम ऑफ एस्ट्रोफिल. ओके, एस्ट्रोफिल नाम की उन्होंने एक एलिजी लिखी है ऑन द डेथ ऑफ फिलिप सिडनी. ओके, लविंग इन ट्रूथ, फेन इन वर्स, माय लव टू शो, शी dear she might take pleasure of my pain, right? These are the lines of Astrophil and Stella. Loving in truth, fain in verse, my love to show, she, dear she, might take pleasure in my pain, that she might be getting pleasure out of the pain that I'm suffering of the unrequited love. Okay, now coming on to the second point, that is apology of poetry, right? So here we are going to talk about the apology of poetry. Talking about the apology of poetry, we say that maybe we are going to discuss about the apology of poetry in the next class, where we will be dedicating the session just to the apology of poetry. Okay, so see you in the next class. If you like the session, please hit the like button, share this video, subscribe this channel. Okay, see you in the next class.